Hello again. It is, I believe, let's see, is it close to 9 a.m.? I think it's 9 a.m. 9:12 in the morning. The print failed, and we're gonna go check on it and see how it's doing. Looks like it's halfway done. Well, hopefully it's still fine. Look at it. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Alright. It looks like it moved a little bit. I don't like that spot right there. I don't know what that is. I don't know how that happened, but maybe we'll take a look at it when we get it out of here. Oh, sorry, you can't see anything. My bad. Well, it's looking kind of cool. There, you can see there's a raft on it now. There's that little raft there, so it shouldn't fall off. Last time it just kind of fell into the vat and it sat there. So, here's hoping it doesn't do that again. This guy has 4 hours left. That's good. Now, there's something I need to talk about when it comes to resin printing that I never thought I'd have to, well, I shouldn't say that. The odor in here, the smell, is extremely intense. Like, this stuff is very, very potent. Now, thankfully, this little laundry room that I'm in, it's kind of like its own little vacuum box. There's no vents in here. There's nothing that would allow this to spread anywhere in the rest of the house, with the exception of maybe an open door. But if I were to close this door and keep it closed, the smell would stay in there. It wouldn't move. But then, when you open the door, it would smack you in the face. Now normally this wouldn't be a problem, because I'm wearing a mask, right? However, I'm not the only one who lives in this house. So, if someone wants to come in here and do their laundry, and then that happens, and suddenly you have this resin poisoning, or what do you call it, epoxy poisoning or whatever, that could be very, very bad. So I have to find a way to sort of deal with the odor and the fumes that are produced through this process of printing. And I've been looking into a few ways of doing that. One way is that Elegoo has made little carbon filters. Not the carbon filters themselves, but air purifiers. They're about yay big, about yay wide. And you position them inside, underneath the hood. You put one there and one on the other side. They come in a pack of 2. They're battery powered, rechargeable. They'll last about 24 hours. And anyway, they're air purifiers, and they will purify the atmosphere inside of this printer, which is where 99% of all the fumes are coming from. It's coming from this exposed vat of uncured resin that's just constantly emitting these nasty fumes that you do not want to inhale. So I've already bought a couple of those. It was like 27 bucks on Amazon. And all the reviews said they were going to work, so I'm hoping that they work out and that they're good looking. Or, what am I saying? No, I just hope they work, because my only other alternative to that is to find a way to plug an exhaust port somewhere. Well, actually, no. I have a couple of options. My other option 2, build an enclosure around the whole setup. Just build a big old tent, and then from that tent, either make some kind of carbon filtration machine gimmick, which is overcomplicated. I don't want to do it. Or just attach a hose to it and have that hose get fanned out the door or out the window somewhere. That's in case the air purifiers don't work. Now here's another solution. Option 3 is my favorite option. Just, instead of building an enclosure around the printers, take advantage of the space that they are already in. This is a nice big area, but believe it or not, this whole room is a vacuum. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out unless you open the door. The funny thing is, the reason I know that is because if I leave this door open, like that, then I come over here to this other door, the only other access point into the room. Watch what happens, and I am operating this door. Watch what happens when I close the door, and then watch what happens when I open it. Yeah. This room over here is vacuum sealed. So, let's use it to our advantage. Instead of building an enclosure around these printers, let's use the enclosure of the room that they're already in, and let's just punch an exhaust port right there into the wall that goes outside. I'm thinking about a 10 by 10 square with a big fan on it, and it just sucks the air right out of this room. And because the air in this room has nowhere else to go, it's going to go outside. Yeah, turning this room into a vacuum. Genius, right? The only problem is this is not my house. I have to ask permission from the homeowner in order to drill something into that wall, but I'm confident that that will work. End-all be-all solution right there. I mean, there is already a port for the dryer that goes outside, the vent. So really, I'm not doing anything too unlike that. It's just, you know, over here. It'll have its own fan, it'll have its own power. It's just gonna pull air out of this room, get rid of those fumes and toxins. And that'll be, honestly, it sounds difficult, but all you need is like a hammer drill, a chisel, some caulk, and to buy a, the exhaust fan only costs like 50 bucks. And for what it's going to do, I think it's worth it. Because right now, I actually cannot do any resin printing anymore until I figure this out. Because the smell is just way too strong. So I have to put resin printing on hold, which sucks. It really, really sucks. Which is going to motivate me to quickly fix this. I will start resin printing once those air purifiers get here, just to see if they do anything. Everyone and their dog is saying that they work, so hopefully just the air purifiers do the trick. You know, the ones that are going to be in there. We'll see. Because the resin smell, it's fine if we have to deal with the resin smell for like, you know, an hour or two, and it gets in the air and it's only in there for an hour. But this printer could be running for like 8 hours at a time, 12 hours, 20 hours, depending on what's going on and what my settings are. I don't imagine I would ever be running for 20 hours, but you never know with this kind of thing sometimes, you know? So I need to be ready, just in case. Anyway, those are my thoughts on what my situation is and what I need to do. I love resin printing. I tell you this right now. I do not want to stop resin printing. Just because of this, I really would hate to stop. But it's because I don't live alone. If I lived alone, this wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't care. The resin's fumes are in here. If I have to wear a mask to come into this laundry room, so be it. But even then, eventually, I would still want to put an exhaust port somewhere in here, because there's no window in this room. There's nothing in this room. There's no vent. There's nothing at all. And it's a perfect opportunity, because that's an outside wall right there, to just punch it out there. Get rid of the toxins, push them outside. Let's check on these guys. How are they doing? This is the MP36 stand right here, or at least the top part of it. Yeah. I reprinted this stand because the first time I printed it, that support right there, like Cura just decided not to run that support across. And so the first one kind of sagged a little bit. It still worked even though it sagged, but this one is going to work perfectly. See, a nice straight line right there, not a weird thing. And if that support wasn't there, it would just look weird. This guy is the MPL5, it's the biggest one. Deserves special treatment. And this guy over here is a middle part of our scope for G1 Megatron. I can't wait to finally print like these kinds of parts on the resin printer. I know I'm experimenting with a clear part right now with clear resin, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more forgiving when I can kind of just paint it and sand it and kind of hide the crimes of what the clear resin is showing, because this clear is going to show everything. It's going to show all the flaws with your work. Well, without that light, it's kind of really hard to tell what it looks like, because it's so dark in here. So I'm just going to deal with the glare inside, or the reflection. It looks like a drop, just kind of like dropped inside of there. I'm not really a fan of that. It didn't happen on the last one like that, so I wonder if through washing that will be taken care of, or what. Sorry. Yeah, that really bugs me. Was that like part of the wall that like fell? Is there not enough support in there for that? I don't know. I mean, it looks like it would have worked fine. It worked fine the first time, so... Alright, let's end this here. This video is going to be like 30 minutes long if I keep it up.